Jonah Reed had always loved winter. The way the cold air bit at his skin, the crunch of fresh snow under boots, the muffled silence that draped the world. It made life feel tangible, precise, as if chaos itself had been smothered by frost. At 32, he prided himself on order. His bookstore on the edge of Whitmore's Town Square reflected this, lined with neatly stacked volumes and cataloged records of decades-old newspapers. Life was predictable, controlled. And yet, that year, the winter felt wrong. The first snow arrived quietly, covering the town in a layer of untouched white. Children played, tossing handfuls of powder at one another. Storefronts glittered with lights. The air smelled of pine and firewood. Everything suggested cheer. But Jonah felt unease prickling under the warmth of holiday lights, a sensation he could neither explain nor ignore. He closed the bookstore later than usual that evening, tucking his scarf tightly around his neck. The streets were eerily serene, silvered under the lamplight. And that was when he saw it, a snowman. Tall, too tall. Its coal-black eyes glimmered unnaturally under the glow of the street lamp. Its smile was jagged, sinister, as though carved by a hand that delighted in cruelty. Jonah stopped, heart hammering, certain he had never seen a snowman look so aware. Shaking off the fear, he hurried home, convincing himself it was exhaustion or a trick of the light. But as he lay in bed that night, he heard a faint scraping at his window. His breath caught. There was nothing outside, only snow drifting silently. Yet the sound had been deliberate, intentional, measured. Sleep eluded him. The next morning, Jonah noticed something impossible. The snowman had moved. Not much, just a step closer to his apartment, but close enough to make rational explanations crumble. Snowmen do not move, yet here it was. By December 5th, Jonah's apprehension had grown into obsession. He avoided the town square, taking long detours home. Every time he looked through a window or down a snowy street, he thought he saw it. The snowman, always there, patient, silent, watching. Rational explanations failed. Maybe the neighbors had repositioned it. Maybe snow shifts created illusions. He called Marla, his friend at the police department. "It's a snowman, Jonah. Maybe stress is playing tricks on you," she said lightly. Her words offered no comfort. That night, he heard his name whispered, soft as the wind, yet chillingly intimate. "Jonah, Jonah, come outside." He bolted upright, drenched in sweat, but saw nothing. The whispers came again, repeating, echoing, shaping themselves from shadows and frost. By the 7th, Jonah found footprints outside his door, large, irregular, and unlike anything his neighbors could leave. They led from the square to his apartment, then vanished. Barricades went up, chairs stacked, windows taped, knives ready. Sleep vanished entirely. Shadows grew darker. Reflections betrayed shapes that were not his own. And always the snowman, outside, inside, everywhere at once. He began leaving notes in the snow, desperate to assert control. "Leave me alone. Go away. I see you." Each morning, the notes disappeared, replaced with crude messages. "You can't hide. I know you. Soon." Jonah's mind frayed. He began talking to the snowman, pleading, cursing, bargaining with a being that existed beyond reason. But the snowman did not answer in words. It answered with presence, with anticipation, with a creeping knowledge that Jonah could not comprehend. By December 12th, Jonah's world had narrowed to his apartment and the snowman. It no longer simply appeared outside. It infiltrated his mind, whispering his fears, exposing old regrets, and mocking every insecurity. "You always feared being alone. You never stood up to Carter at school. You abandoned Emily when she needed you." The whispers burrowed into his thoughts, impossible to silence. Jonah attempted escape, driving out of town, but the roads were snowbound, labyrinthine, and in his rearview mirror, he saw it, following, step for impossible step, towering and patient. Returning home, he noticed subtle manipulations. Objects moved, knives repositioned, journal pages opened. The snowman did not just watch, it learned, anticipated, toyed. Jonah understood with gut-deep terror that this was not random. This was deliberate, an intelligent, patient predator that existed to dismantle him psychologically. Hallucinations overtook him. Reflections showed the snowman behind him. Shadows flickered with movement. Footsteps echoed where no one walked. His own voice mocked him. By December 14th, Jonah's mind teetered on the brink, sleep-deprived and desperate, trapped in a psychological cage built of snow, frost, and fear. By December 18th, Jonah had abandoned any pretense of normal life. He did not leave his apartment. He did not eat. He did not sleep. The whispers were no longer just sounds. They were accusations, promises, and threats. You built me. You nurtured me in your fear. You cannot escape. One night, he awoke to scraping, snow being compacted, shifting, coming from the hallway. Heart hammering, he crept toward the sound with a candlestick in hand. The snowman stood in the corridor, impossibly tall, coal eyes glimmering, crooked smile wider than reality should allow. Snow trickled from its limbs, bending in unnatural angles. It was alive, yet not alive, a mirror of Jonah's terror. Days or hours passed, Jonah could not tell. The whispers became voices, telling him of private sins and fears. His journal overflowed with frantic notes, his own mind circling in spirals of terror. Every reflection betrayed him, every shadow mocked him, every sound foretold the snowman's calculated patience. On December 20th, Jonah attempted a last desperate defense. He armed himself with knives, hurling threats at the snowman, screaming into the empty apartment. It did not strike. It did not need to. It toyed with him, savoring the collapse of his mind, until he understood. It fed on fear, and Jonah was already consumed. Christmas Eve arrived, silent and white. Jonah crouched in the corner of his apartment, trembling, eyes fixed on the door. The front door unlocked itself, snow falling from impossible movements. The snowman entered fully, its presence overwhelming, filling every corner of cold. Its smile stretched impossibly wide, its coal eyes glimmering with malicious intelligence. Jonah screamed, begged, whispered apologies. The snowman did not answer in words. It advanced slowly, snow crunching beneath limbs that bent unnaturally. Jonah felt the world collapse around him. He understood the truth. It did not merely want his body. It wanted his mind, his terror, his surrender. The cold pressed against him. The whispers became deafening. Jonah's vision blurred. The world narrowed to black eyes, jagged snow, and the certainty of his undoing. He collapsed, broken, huddled against the corner. The snowman loomed, patient, deliberate, unhurried. By morning, the apartment was empty, windows frosted, doors locked from the inside. In the square, a new snowman had appeared overnight, taller than any before, coal eyes glimmering, jagged smile knowingly cruel. Jonah Reed was gone. The townspeople whispered warnings. Children were told not to build snowmen alone, never to approach strange shapes in the snow. And every year, as Christmas came, the snowman returned, patient, intelligent, and waiting for the next mind to unravel. The cold was eternal, the snow unending, and the white silence was alive.